Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know. Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know.
Do it for Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. Hey, do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, it's my favorite show. Do it for Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo when it comes to the Kings. Big hopes and dreams as we cover our kings. Never cover the kingdom.
We are live. I forgot headphones. I have no idea what part of the song we're on. We started playing the outro. Why? Who cares anymore?
We care.
No, I do care about the pod. I just literally forgot headphones. We are live. Happy, not so happy Wednesday, April 2nd. This team, man. This team. Unbelievable. How we doing? How you doing, Mo?
I don't know.
This team, I want to say something for the pod. I feel like we should just start.
Yeah.
Just like, let's give some love to the basketball sickos who continue to support us, even though their team is not very good. And that is painful. You know, I look disheveled.
Take both of us. It's like,
Oh, my goodness. Shout out to Jace E. Lozano, CMT's in the building with Jim. Say what's up to Joseph Morgan.
hi, Joseph.
If you don't mind, give some love to Santos as well. Jose
Hi,
in the
Santos.
building. Blue Velvets, thanks so much for being here. Omar, Alex, Robin, AVT, Eli. Hey, Chris, Ricardo, and Esado. Boosty. What's up, Cameron? Cav, Killa, Roberto. Bottom big. Appreciate Patrick, Jesse James. Thanks so much for all being here. If you have not done it yet, make sure to hit the thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure we're not too hot here. Okay. What is up, Don? Thanks so much. Jordan, Inside Evil. Manny, too legit. What's up, Rappy? Lloyd. Morgan's a little bummed. She can't be drinking a glass of wine tonight, huh?
A glass.
We're at the NBC Sports California
Bottle.
studios where we just did pre and post after this Kings loss. My goodness. My goodness. I mean, hold on. Can I take off this jacket for a sec?
Dude, why are you even asking? Why you do whatever you want anyway? Just you talking about yourself today.
Oh, dude. Just wait, dude. The off-season Deuce is going to be a maniac.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? You're gonna have so many abs, people can't even count them.
Well, I did look similar to Jaylen Brown before the season.
Oh, that's right.
Now I'm looking like Sean Kemp post-lockout in 98. It's all good.
No, you don't. You didn't look like either, by the way. Like, no.
We did this like great. Oh,
You
man.
get a ab, please show the world. Please show the world.
Okay. Just wait. When we have the Deuce and Mo car wash, charity car wash coming up in August.
The charity? What?
You never did that in high school? A charity car wash? We used to raise a fundraiser. We used to raise money for our school newspaper.
We did it for our basketball team.
Let's just say Deuce kept his shirt on for that one, huh?
Why? Because
Come on. I'm looking like Pokashevsky or Chet. You know what I mean? Like, what are we going to do? Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm seeing the comments. It's brutal. Thanks so much for the nice comment. I like the shirt, Deuce. Thank you.
Oh.
Looks like an Easter shirt, you know.
Well, it's April.
It is April, and we're all fools. Hi, I'm Deuce Mason. All right, let's start the podcast.
Start the
we will
pod.
not have the theme. So Morgan, hit my music in 3, 2, 1. Hit my music.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. It's a beamless night as I lay here sleepless. It's a beamless night as I'm waiting for you. There's no victories when you're not shining. And now my soul is as dark as the sky. And maybe I don't even need you. And maybe I don't need to see you. And maybe you're just nothing but a dream. Because it's a beamless night as I lay here sleepless. It's a beamless night and I'm waiting for you. There's no victories when you're not shining. And now my soul is as dark as the sky.
I don't think there's a better way to start the podcast, especially after the poll question I put forth tonight.
What was that?
Do you feel like crying? Yes and no. I laugh so I don't cry.
All of the above.
All of the above. Welcome into the Deuce and Mo podcast. I think you're feeling the vibes right away if you missed the game. We're recording this on a Wednesday from the NBC Sports California studios after the Kings go to Washington, taking on a 16-win Washington Wizards club that was missing some key guys, right? Young guys and vets that aren't playing in general. They also did not play Jordan Poole or Alex Sarr in the fourth quarter. Yet, they beat the Sacramento Kings. A Kings team, by the way, that's trying to fight for the play-in. They're playing lives. Coming off a disappointing loss on the road to Indiana, they beat the Kings 116-111. Yes, a Wizards team that's near the bottom in offense, barely scoring 109 a game, knocked down 17 threes. A team that's not a good three-point shooting team, knocked down 17 threes in 43 attempts for 39%. A Wizards team who was near the bottom in field goal percentage, shot 51% tonight. Oh, and by the way, it's a Wizards team that gives up close to 121 points per game, held the Kings to 111 points. The Sacramento Kings lost in a big game on the road to a Wizards team that was literally sitting guys down the stretch, playing their young guys. Bub Carrington, super talented, played 40-plus minutes. And the Kings lost 116-111. They're 36-40. And the Suns, Kevin Durant sprains his ankle. The Suns are still alive now. Who wants it? Nobody. The league doesn't. The league's going, fine. We'll just go 1 through 8. No 9, 10, 11 this year. It's over. This podcast presented by our friends at Santivo Vineyards and Winery. I'm Juice Mason. That's Morgan Reagan. Yeah, we laugh so we don't cry. How you doing?
Yeah, you already know how we're. You already know. You already know. You already know. I just need I need like a pillow, and I just need to scream into it.
Oh, there's it. It hits you in the face with it.
Why?
I don't
I
know.
would choose like a pan or something if I wanted to hit somebody.
Mike,
Pan.
Look, we
cartoon.
could. There's literally. I could have just like edited a different podcast and just put Wizards as the other team. Because this game, how many times we've seen this game 100 times?
Yeah.
I mean, this was bad offensively. It was bad defensively. Another poor three-point shooting team shoots it well from 3. You don't feel the Kings. They have bad turnovers. It's just like, well, what? Bad defensive rotations, leaving guys.
The Wizards were trying to lose by keeping certain guys out. But this is, I mean, when I say the Wizards, obviously the organization, the coaching staff, whatever, the young players that were in there were like, no, we're going to play basketball.
And I do want to be fair to this, okay? Because I said that too on postgame. I think this time of the year, when you have a young team, you want to get the young guys experience down the stretch. I'm almost fine with him not playing Jordan Poole. It's fine.
Same.
It is a little funny that the second pick in the draft, Alex Sarr, who's a rookie, they did not play either. I'm like, oh my God. So obviously they're focused on like, hey, all right, we got to make sure we're keeping our pick in this range. But I mean, they're pretty much safe as it is anyway. But it just goes to show you like their core mission is more about getting young guys experience. They didn't really care about the end result tonight. For these young Wizards, like this is great for Bub Carrington, who's such a
100%.
talented young prospect, one of the youngest players in the league. to get it going from 3-point land tonight at 5 of 11. That's great for his confidence, right? JT Thor, who just got called up from the G League, who was playing for the Capital City Go-Go. He just played in his 7th NBA game this year. He was playing big minutes down the stretch and hit the 3 to ice it for the Wizards. Where do we start tonight, Morgan?
I think
we already started.
I think we start again at just the ultimate overall picture of what the Kings didn't present tonight. Because let's go here to the third quarter. Wizards outscored the Kings 30-something to...
Oh, in the third, 36-25 Washington.
36-25 Washington.
Washington was 63% shooting, 7 of 12 from 3 in the quarter.
And so then, awful third, right? But also already an awful game, whatever. Awful third. Kings do a much better job in the fourth. It was like actually looking better. And I'm like, okay, they're going to get one of these wins where we're just going, Jesus, that was a shitty game. But man, they found a way to win because that's what you're supposed to do against a 16-win basketball team. And it was just like, no, they still didn't want it enough. I mean, they go back every single game. They go back to, hey, let's go ISO. Let's take this bad shot on the offensive end. Let's stop going to what's working. I don't know, go into the 2-man game with Domas Sabonis against these skinny freaking Washington Wizard bigs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, again, this is just anger and emotions coming out because it's like, Washington stepped up. Their big stepped up. Their 5-out offense really created a challenge for the Kings. But I said to Deuce this, I said, that 5-out offense is going to be good when it's the Celtics, when it's the Cavs, when it's a good team. When it's a bad team with the 5-out offense, all you got to do is take 2 steps over and be in the right place and help. It's like, it's not difficult to do.
We listened to Doug Christie's post-game comments, and he was talking about intensity, effort, and enthusiasm, and talked about this team and them overlooking the Wizards. I'm just like, these are things that like a veteran group should not be doing at all this time of year, especially like with what's at stake. The Kings are now 3-12 since that Clippers loss when Kawhi hit the game winner.
Cool.
They have lost 7 of 8 games. And yeah, I think to your point, it's another team that got comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one thing you don't want to do is allow a young team who's going to play hard. Like JT Thor, like I said, just got called up. Like he's going to play. He's fighting for his NBA life. And to get something good on tape, go out there and play hard. That it means something to him. And it should mean something to the Kings to fight for a chance to maybe get in the playoffs, but it doesn't seem like their approach is the same. And so why does a team like Washington, who shoots 33.5% from 3, which is 29th out of 30 teams, how do they hit nearly 40% from 3 tonight?
Well, I'll tell you. Can I tell you?
Yes.
They do it because the defense was never felt. And we talk about this so many different times. But the fact is, against one of the worst teams in the NBA.
Have we mentioned that? One of the worst teams, a now 17-win team that really winning is not at the top of their list of priorities at the moment.
This should be the time when you feast, when you do things that you want to do that you didn't do in the last loss or the last loss or the last loss. Like you figure it out and you go, okay, let's get this shit done. Let's close out. Every shooter's a hot shooter. Every shooter out here is going to be Steph Curry. You got to play the game like you got to have that mindset. And the fact that they don't have that mindset anymore is making me believe that what Doug Christie said at the end of this game, he said, yeah, it's like they think they can just coast into the play-in because they're there and then take it away from there.
It's a ridiculous mindset.
You should learn how to play better basketball together if this is if this was the roster going into next year, which probably won't be, but if it is, you got to learn how to play together the right way.
Looking at Washington and Charlotte, these 2 games, my perspective, I was like, okay, these are the 2 games on the road trip. Like, got to win games. And if you play well in these games, it doesn't mean that you figured it out and everything's good. But I thought, okay, this is a good chance to maybe build some confidence and get into some sort of flow on both ends. And I think that's just been the disconnect for a while now. I mean, we're talking about a significant stretch of games where the Kings are not playing well. And there were 3 games in there. The win against Portland, which is fine, right? They had some good moments in that game. And then the 2 back-to-back wins on the home floor when they beat Memphis and Cleveland. After the Cleveland game, I'm like, okay, let's see. This is good. Like, let's see if they can build off of this. And they didn't. You know, they followed it up by losing a big lead to the Bulls, right? They were like 19 in that game and then lost the game. And it's just inconsistency when it comes to playing both sides of the ball, really. I mean, I'm going defensively, but offensively, it hasn't been good either. And you're looking around going, well, this team has like weapon, like Zach LaVine's put up numbers in this league. DeMar, like all these guys, they have the firepower. Why doesn't it work? One, something we've mentioned so many times, not having a point guard is like devastating, I think. 2, it's not, I think there's been so much talk about getting LaVine into the spots he likes, which I do think there's some importance to that.
Absolutely.
But I think you need to like, you have to have an offensive identity. Like, this is how we play. And that team 2 years ago, you knew how they played. They moved the ball. When they screen, they screen. They cut hard with a purpose. They moved the ball and they shot it well. There's none of that really with this team.
It didn't just flow because of like the individuals. It didn't flow because like, wow, they had some of the best individuals in the league. It flowed because they all understood what role and what identity that they wanted to play with, and buying into that. And even there not being sometimes not enough ego with someone like De'Aaron Fox, where you're like, you just need to take over. You just need to go. And it's like, he kept on learning how to become more and more of that player. Shove you on my back. Let's go. Sabonis, same thing, was passive at times and then kept being stronger and stronger with basketball. And kept understanding I can get my assist, but while I'm still getting mine. And as the roster change, sure, these personalities are going to change, things are going to change, but these are all good basketball players on this roster. Something we talked about after the trade deadline. Like, there's individuals, if you just looked at this roster on paper, you're going, oh, this is better.
If it's a fancy basketball team, you might go, oh, I like this. Like,
yeah. It's even better with more depth. You know, Jake LaRavia, who didn't play tonight again, you know, all whatever, you go down the list and you're like, oh, this could work. It can only work if you know how to play basketball the right way. And I just say basketball because it's not like you need to depend on Zach LaVine. You don't need to depend on DeMar DeRozan. You all just need to play a style that is like so simple to like elementary fundamental basketball. You pass, you move, you cut, you get a paint touch, you spray, you cut with a purpose, you screen with a purpose, not just like a touch and then you slip. You screen with a fucking purpose, and you just do these simple things. You can create some beautiful basketball.
And this Wizards team that doesn't have the offensive firepower, those names,
They did that. They did it
did.
easily.
Yeah.
And it was so pretty at times.
So it's just, there's, and you just haven't seen it. And it's like, we would be naive if we think that all of a sudden, this late in the year, that all of a sudden it's just going to turn on, the switch is going to go on, it's going to click. And the reality is, this is what they are, you know? This is how like average to below average teams play. And this team is now, they're 36-40. 36-40. 36. I mean,
say it again.
I mean, think about like that years ago. It was like De'Aaron's first or second year? Was his second year when they won 39 games. That team wasn't good.
Dave Yeager, yep.
Yeah, they ran up and down the floor. They weren't good.
Yeah.
They just played fast, played hard.
Yep.
And they got 39.
And I remember how excited we were.
Yeah, it was fun. Now this team is just like it's unfortunate too, because I think when you look at it, it's just turned into a very unlikable team too, because you just don't see the consistent ball movement, the love, the passing, it's
joy.
all the things, the joy that comes with playing this game.
Yeah.
Like if I was a Wizards fan tonight, I'd be pretty fired up seeing, oh, dude, Bub Carrington, like. Wow. Look at, they beat a team tonight that was literally needing to win. And so it's just so disappointing. I mean, we talked about on the way here, we're just like reflecting on this season and how, okay, the 0-4 preseason was like, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
Slow start. Then they were terrible at home. They fire Brown.
They couldn't make a shot.
Well,
either.
Yeah. And then they 13-18, they fire Mike Brown. And then, they lose that first game under Doug. win 7 in a row. You beat the Celtics. You're like, oh my God, okay, this salvage things. Then the Fox shit happens. And you peter out at the All-Star break. And really since then, there really hasn't been a lot of optimism. And the lows, there have been so many more lows this year is my point. Like when we can count on one hand, like how about that win? It's like the Boston win, the Cavs win, the double OT comeback against Miami at home when you were down big in that game and came back. It's just there's not many of them, and that's really, really disappointing, and it hurts.
And that I think that's where we're at too. Is we keep talking about it's not losses that are just like disappointing because we understand like in the NBA and the Western Conference or whatever, it can be hard every single night. You never know. It's how they keep losing. And then you break it down again. It's not just how they keep losing. It's quarter by quarter, how they play in a quarter, how they play inconsistently in a quarter. And then you go possession by possession.
Yeah.
Just starting on the offensive end where you're like, why are you just all standing there around the horn? Why isn't one person cutting? Even when DeMar goes in ISO at times, I understand because I remember Mike Bibby, I asked him one time, like, why aren't people cutting when DeMar is going ISO? And he's like, well, they don't want to get in his way. And I'm kind of like, get in his fucking way. Like, do something. Like, get defense to move because I can't stand to watch one player go and it not translate into W's.
Well, something we looked at the pregame, we did like a breakdown on the fourth quarter execution against Indiana, and there were just so many plays with that, where you saw just screens were not really set with any type of force or like the movement. Like if you're going to slip a screen instead of go screen, like you need to like flash hard to the basket and maybe there's going to be a threat to move the ball. But there was just so much standing around. And when you saw like a cut, it wasn't like a cut going hard to the basket to get the defense to react. You had like a guy cutting through, like jogging, and you're like, well, the defense isn't going to react to that. And, you know,
if you're not a threat,
you have to make defenses work in this league. Otherwise, all right, we'll just key in on this two-man game. You guys are just standing around. We know what's going to happen.
You're predictable.
Yeah, and then you end up getting like bad looks. And it's crazy in a game where the Kings didn't turn the ball over like crazy today. They had 11 turnovers, which is not a bad number at all.
No, but
there were so many just careless ones, like being loose with the ball or throwing like tough passes or
unforced,
getting a rebound and turning it over on the outlet. And it's the type of mental miscues that you just don't expect from like a veteran team. So that's really, really rough to see.
The turnovers, I'm glad you brought them up because you're exactly right. Not too many, but it was not every turnover is created equally. And some of these were unforced, but then others, it was just like Champagny or whoever else just popping the ball away, knocking it away, and just careless, not focused, not locked in. And this is my least favorite thing to do is talk about these things, is game after game after game being like, man, they're not locked in, man, they're not focused, man. And we give you examples of some of those turnovers
game after game. They don't play defense, they give up threes game after game. Come on, give me some love for that.
But what is that song? Oh, Time After Time. They can't even shoot the ball from the three. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
You're
dun,
right,
dun.
you're right. That's when you know.
If you can find me time after time. Yeah. It's okay. You know the chorus.
Yeah. Yep. And some of the issues that we're talking about here with this team are not issues that, are new. I mean, these are issues Mike Brown saw, and these are the same frustrations that he saw. And now you're seeing it too, like with a different coach. And it's tough, man. It's really, really, really tough.
I couldn't stop smiling on the postgame show because I didn't know what to do with my face. And I was just like, the Kings lose 116 to 1, whatever the hell it was. It was, I'm in this space now where it's not anger. It's not frustration. It's not just disappointed. I was in acceptance the other day, but with this, it's just like, calm.
Yeah.
And You come off a game where you're playing okay basketball against the Pacers.
And to be honest, they had more good moments in that
I
game than bad. The
know.
fourth quarter was bad against the Pacers.
Absolutely, but my whole point of that is like, okay, yeah, how can you build off that? Like, sure, you didn't end up in a win, but how do you build off that? You go back down the other way? What?
It's honestly kind of a shame because tonight's not really surprising either. You know, it's like it's not. You know, there was something in the back of my head today. It's like, God, they're probably gonna lose one of these games, like Hornets or Washington. Although I did say pregame, like the first segment, I'm like, we pre-lit the beam tonight. It's done. They got this.
He pre-lit the beam.
I made an executive decision. Pre-lit, which by the way, I'm never doing that again with this particular team. It is really up there with the Barkley guarantee. That's my pre-lit the beam thing. I think might be like 0 for 7.
But you even said on the postgame show, you're like, okay, I won't do it again this season. I think that's really messed up that you would ever even do that again on any season.
Believe it or not,
You're a troll.
I still had standards for this game tonight, and I'm not surprised, but I did expect a different approach. I think one of the more disappointing things about tonight. Just how they executed out of timeouts. There just were so many times where out of a timeout, turnover, or out of a timeout, an open 3 for the Wizards, and you're like, man, like that's when you know like the breakdown, the focus is just not there. And then even at the end of the first half, they're on a 10-0 run. Monk finishes at the rim. The Kings cut it to 1, and you're like, okay, great momentum going into the half. And they inbounded to Poole, who goes straight down the middle all the way to the rim. And you're like, that's just a terrible way. And, you know, you could be like, oh, well, it was a 10-2 run. It's like, no. This is where, hey, we go on a run. We threw a punch. We're down 1. Instead, you let a team go all the way with 5 seconds to go and get to the rim.
And that was something we were talking about on our halftime show was the points in the paint for the Wizards. They were actually even shooting better from 3-point land at that point, or they were shooting well from 3-point land, which was surprising. But I thought the way that they were scoring in the paint, whether it was a second chance opportunity, just putting it back in at the rim, or getting into the paint with the ease was frustrating. Then we saw a different play where Keon is playing some good defense on Jordan Poole. He gets screened and he's trying to navigate it. He can't. And he did everything he could. That's why you have teammates in the second line of defense.
No help.
There was no help in those moments.
Yeah.
That's where it's because I go, this guy is in a 7-footer coming around. It's not Kevin Durant. It's like there's just literally no body there. There's no presence there. And so like there was just too many of those moments tonight where there was line drives, frustrating moments, frustrating runs where you get excited for a moment, then you're like, what the shit? And then coming out of timeouts, like you said, how are you not connected? And then let's go to this. You and I were talking about how why in these games can't someone like Isaac Jones come in there and just turn shit around?
Yeah, I mean, I'm to the point now. It's like, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like what you're doing and what you've been doing hasn't been working. I'd rather bring in a guy. I mean, a great example is just looking at Washington tonight. You bring in some guys that aren't, probably haven't gotten a lot of opportunity, or maybe are getting more opportunity down the stretch of the season. They're coming out and like competing at a high level. I'm like, look, I'd reward Isaac with some time right now. One, not just out of like courtesy, but like the guy has shown you things this year. He has size, rim protection, things you need. And actually, this would have been a really good game to play him.
Yep. Maybe stay with
against
some
Washington.
of the bigger youth. Yeah.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden, you're playing him. I mentioned at the half, like I go small ball 5 when Sabonis is out of the game. And, you play someone like Isaac, let him deal with like
Sarr,
Vucevic or Alex Sarr or whatever, and just see what he can do. Because he possesses something that you kind of lack on this roster, which is that length and athleticism at that spot. So, yeah, I'm with you on that, and that's the one thing I don't really have a problem with how the young guys play, and that's the one thing like with Keon and Keegan, like those guys, they are like the least of my worries, and it's not just because they're young. I think those are the guys that do the necessary things that you need, which is cut hard. They're playing good defense. They're playing with physicality. Like I think Keegan had some really strong moments, but with a team, if you're not all connected, if you're not all on the same page playing with that type of purpose, it's just not going to work. And that's what you notice. Like, I don't know, the more you watch them, like they like each other? I don't know. Like, I'm just not seeing enough of the things that makes a team successful. It's not about, like, if the Kings tonight were like, oh man, they played hard, but they just couldn't knock down shots. Fine. I mean, it would suck. We'd still be irritated, but it's that lack of cohesiveness that you just don't see it all the time. Like, they should just spam the Monk Sabonis 2-man game. They finally got it going a bit in the second half. I'm like, why has that disappeared? Like, I need the ball in Monk's hands, and let's get Sabonis in the 2-man game. Instead, it seemed like, oh, he's trying to post up again, and because we feel like we got the mismatch, and let's go to work there. No, stop. Go into the 2-man game and get that pocket pass, or maybe it leads to an open 3 for somebody else. And one of the first times he did in the second half, Sabonis jammed it on somebody's head.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You look at this team and you look at different matchups, and different teams have obviously figured out that 2-man game. They have done a good job of just blowing it up and making sure that they can't get anything out of it. You were going to make that work all night long on this Wizard squad. That's not a very good defensive team. That's not a very good team in general. You have more of that strength with someone like Sabonis. You do have a good playmaker in someone like Malik. And I just don't understand the inconsistencies of going away from stuff that can work and has worked. And it's confusing. I don't know where everyone's minds are at this point of the season. I understand shit's hard. Things have been frustrating, whatever. But it's like, you're going out there anyway. So, like, make it good. Make it good. I mean, you think after some of these post games on NBC, like, I'm there, so I'm gonna make it a good post game show. You know, I don't give a shit what the Kings gave to me to talk about. Like, I'm going to do everything I can in my power to make I'm there. Like, that's what, like, your mindset just needs to be like, it's go time. Let's go. I don't understand that. It may be because I've never made millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. Like, I don't know. I only have one mindset when it comes to, like, work ethic and, like, what?
Our poll question tonight, could you cry right now?
Yes.
45% of the people who voted say yes. 55% say no, I laugh so I don't cry. So that's where we are at mentally at this point. Yeah. And now, you know, you're in a situation where you're just keeping the Suns alive. If you're trying to do the whole playing thing, like, they're literally alive. I'm trying to see what Dallas is doing right now.
I was going to say, you mentioned this earlier. AD left the game with an eye injury, or he came back?
Anthony Davis left the game. He did return. He did return this game, and he's got 32 and 14. But Dallas is down 3 with like a minute to go. So, you know, there may be no. You didn't lose any ground in your race to 9, but the Suns did get closer, and you still played the Suns the final game of the season. You know, on that. So that's, yeah. I mean,
it's hard to even talk about that.
I don't have much excitement because it's just with this group. It's not like you're going, hey man, I've seen this group before. If they can just rally together and get hot, if they somehow got it together, it would be one of the more shocking developments, right? It just, I don't see how you could sit here today and be optimistic that, hey man, they're gonna get this together. Because if you can't get it together tonight against this team, with what lies ahead, good luck. Good luck.
I mean, this is a Wizards team that had the injury report that they had.
Yep.
They didn't want to win this game. They didn't play some of their main guys that were healthy and available in the fourth quarter.
And Rashawn Holmes left this game after 3 minutes. So they only played 8 guys in this game tonight.
What I know we talked about it a little bit in the beginning, but what did you think of, like, Doug Christie not only talking about, you know, these guys not playing with this, but then mentioning the mindset of coasting into the play-in, knowing that you're there, and then,
I mean, it's absurd. It shouldn't be a conversation. I would be, if I was like, if this was OKC like 2 years ago. Remember when OKC was a play-in like 3 years ago? A couple of years ago? They were a play-in, by the way.
Yeah.
And if they had a game like this late in the year and Mark Dagnall comes out and is like disappointed about his team, you'd be like, yeah, you know, they're young. They'll figure it out. Like, this is part of the growing pains. I mean, this is not a young team, you know, and that's where you don't completely understand the approach. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I even said to you before or I think it was in the fourth quarter, I said, Deuce, how do we talk about this game if the Kings win? Like that
I was
even
already,
to me
when they
was,
started to make a run and cut it, and I was like, if we have a post-game interview, I'm like, I don't even know what I asked. Like, it's like, what was so challenging with this young Wizards team? You know, I don't know.
Yeah. You keep it generic at that point because really, I'm sure in so many different ways, you're all feeling things. You know, everything that Doug Christie even said. I just don't know how these things are felt. I'm at a loss for words.
Oh, we got a tie game in Atlanta, 118 apiece with 10.6 to go. I just have the scoreboard in front of me.
I like it. Let's talk about this game.
118 with 7.7 seconds to go. Woo-wee. So Dallas is still alive. So Dallas could actually gain some ground tonight on Sacramento.
I mean, gain some ground, so then they're in that 9th spot, and Kings would have to hit the road.
Yeah, you'd have to go to Dallas and win a play-in game to advance to take on, at this moment, I think it's like Minnesota or the Clippers, or maybe Memphis. Good luck.
Good luck with everything.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Appreciate everyone, the basketball sickos who are hanging out with us, and likely some fans from other teams watching our misery tonight.
Thanks,
That's clearly. Hey, could you imagine losing to the Wizards twice in 1 year? Like the Nuggets?
Denver Nuggets, who then lost in double OT last night after Russ.
Losers!
What an idiot team.
Kings only
Have
lost
they
to the
ever
Wizards
won a
once.
championship? They have the best player in the world that loves horses. Ooh.
Oh, man. Make sure to hit
We're
the thumbs
jealous.
up and subscribe if you have not done it yet. All it does is help our channel grow. We're going to be doing content. Even after the Kings are done, we're going to be doing a lot of NBA playoff content after games. We're going to be posting video reactions to we're basketball sickos. We watch hoops all the time. So make sure to stay with us all off season long.
I live and die for the Sacramento Kings. They are what they are, even in the play-in. They could surprise us all. Cool. If they get there, I will be. I'm just saying. Real. Like, it could happen. Anything can happen. But if it doesn't, I'm excited to start watching more and more other teams. Like, I had fun last night watching Minnesota and Denver. In that double. Oh, Kevin Harlan, just gold. Gold. He's so good for the NBA. But, it's fun watching teams just go at it, competitive, good basketball, and I need to see that. I need to see it.
We got some more stuff to get to in just a moment, but we do need to mention that our podcast partners are amazing because they stick with us during the highs and lows of this King season, including our friends over at Sentivo Vineyards and Winery.
Oh, yes. Can't wait to drink some of that when I get home, and you can drink some too. You just go to SentivoVineyards.com. You can check out all their bottles there. You can order them there, and I'm not kidding. You can order any bottle, and you will love it. They are some of my favorite wines I've ever had. The reds, the whites, everything. Family-owned business. All Kings fans, go check them out. SentivoVineyards.com.
We're also presented tonight by our friends over at Bird Dogs. Go to birddogs.com/DMPod. Use promo code DMPod. You're going to get some awesome stuff, including let me just show you these, okay? In the summertime, I'm big on shorts. I'm big on shorts, but I like to be comfortable.
Yes.
And there's a lot of times I'm just like, I can't find these comfortable. I have to wear like basketball shorts or gym shorts. Dude, these shorts, first of all, I got thighs like what? That's Cisco thong song. Anyway, they are so comfortable. They're stretchy. They're cool for this hot Sacramento summer. Love these. You need to check them out. They've got so many different types. If you go to their website, Go to birddogs.com/DMPod. And for a limited time, our listeners get a free hat with any order when you use code DMPod at birddogs.com. You get that hat completely free when you use code DMPod at birddogs.com. So if you want to look fly and feel comfortable, it's a game changer. Plus, it's not like too casual either. That's the other thing I like about them. They got the stretchy khakis too.
They look great.
So go to birddogs.com. DM Pod, support our show, and let them know we sent ya. Also presented by our friends of our Golden One Credit Union. We are all one at Golden One, the official credit union of the Sacramento Kings, Morgan.
They are. And you... Can't I talk?
I don't know. I
you
can help
can
you
become a member and you can receive all the different perks. You can get up to 50% off Kings home games through Golden One's online discount ticket portal. You can scan that QR code right there as well. You can get 15% off merch when you use your Golden One card at the Kings team store, and the chance to win courtside and lower bowl seat upgrades when you waive your Golden One card at all those home games.
Yeah, check out Golden One today, goldenonecreditunion.com. Also presented today by our friends over at Medic Ambulance.
Oh, we are thrilled to team up with Medic Ambulance. For over 45 years, Medic Ambulance has set the standard in emergency medical services, combining cutting-edge technology, award-winning service, and a deep commitment to community care. From life-saving responses to being the team behind the scenes at your favorite events, Medic is there to serve when seconds matter. Trust the professionals setting the standard in patient care. Learn more at medicambulance.net.
Appreciate everyone's support of the Deuce and Mo podcast, and we have an update tonight.
What's our update?
Anthony Davis, with 3.4 seconds to go, buries a jumper. The Hawks had a chance. Trae Young for the win. Dallas wins. Oh, Dallas wins. 120-118. So the gap is now a game and a half between 9 and 10.
Okay.
Dallas, by the way, who traded Luka, has had injuries beyond injuries, all right? Anthony Davis was out, Lively was out, Gafford was out, Hardy was out. They are somehow, some way getting it together late in the year when guys return. Lively started tonight. He's back. Gafford's back in AD. Think about playing that team in the play-in.
No.
Even without Kyrie.
Yep.
That's the other thing. No Kyrie.
Big team. You know what you're going to get from them.
My goodness,
just
dude.
Even defensively, just the aggressiveness, tenacity, all the different things.
Brutal.
How far behind are the Suns from the Kings?
One game.
Okay.
One game. Jacob in the chat would like us to know, he says, time to be realistic, Deuce and Mo. Pack it in, it's over.
I mean, it could be.
I mean, time out. When have we not been... did I miss something tonight? Are you just turning on the podcast for the first time? We have been beyond realistic.
Wait, but yeah, like we always say that it's definitely not good. But here's the other thing. It's like the fact of the matter is they're going to most likely be in the play.
I don't know. I'm not. I'm revising it tonight.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, they're keeping Phoenix alive. And Phoenix has a couple of winnable games here. The Spurs, and then their last game against the Kings. The Kings' schedule after their next game against the Hornets, the 19-win Hornets, is not easy. Cleveland and Detroit.
Yep. Losses.
Okay.
Then you come home. Some lucky win.
Okay. Come home for Denver.
Loss. Unless these teams are not playing their guys. You know, we're
even so, what the hell does that matter?
Yeah.
And then you play the Clippers.
Yeah.
Then you play the Clippers.
Loss.
Okay. Then you play the Suns.
Possible loss. I know. Well, and that's the thing that's crazy about all of this is that you look at Kevin Durant with the ankle injury and then the Suns having the hardest schedule ever. And it's like the Kings aren't even winning the games that they're supposed to win.
Yeah.
So it's like, look, it is what it is. Crazy enough that there's still a chance, but who wants it? Like, do the Suns want it? Do the Kings want it? Who wants it at this point?
Well, I feel like the Mavs do. I think Anthony Davis is super motivated. I think that group now healthy. I think there is, for the Mavs, they feel like there's probably a sense of disrespect around that group because of the reaction to the Luka trade. And the reaction was fair, but if you're Anthony Davis or you're like that group that made it to the finals last year, like, you know what? You're acting like we're a bunch of bums.
Yeah.
We're going to show you. And they're kind of rallying together right now, even without Kyrie.
Yep.
The Suns, I mean, I would like to think that they'd like to be in play. To me, the Suns and the Kings are like the same to me. They've got pieces that don't seem to mesh. You look at some of the talent, you're like, that should be pretty good. It doesn't work. And you look at both those teams and think they should be better. And then the Suns lose by 40 at home or 30-40 at home to Houston. KD goes down. That group just looked disconnected for most of the year. And it's kind of the same thing with Sacramento. Like those two teams are almost mirror images with each other in terms of what they have been doing this year. Not a lot of highs and a ton of lows, and questioning both teams going, do they want this or what? I don't know.
My emotions are like this season, just like in this 1 hour of podcasting, not even an hour.
Yeah,
it's just up and down. Like beginning of the podcast, I was just like, I need to scream. Middle of the podcast, I was like, I need to cry.
Yeah, and this is the feeling that you get in the chat, and a lot of people are feeling this way. It's like, at this point, just give me the 12th pick. There's so many scenarios with the 12th pick. Like if the Kings could still get the 12th pick if they were a play-in team. Technically.
Yeah.
There's so many variations, but the way things are going right now, that's why a week and a half ago I was talking about acceptance so much. Just accept it. Just accept, like, hey, if they make the play-in, okay, like, annoying, whatever. You don't feel like they're going to go far. If they miss it, it's like, well, okay, you accept that you get a first-round pick. I mean, it's just, what are you supposed to do? I mean, It is what it is. People are like, well, the Kings should tank. I'm like, okay, so they literally have lost, like, what is it now? Like
7 of 8.
7 of 8 and expanding. I think I mentioned they're 3-12 in their last 15. Yeah, I mean, they're just playing and losing. Like, you don't have to try at this point.
Yeah.
So the reality, though, is we've been through this before, Kings fans, and we'll get through this together.
Yeah.
Who would be your simply the best player of the game tonight, presented by Northwest Exteriors?
Probably Jordan Poole, 23 points in 24 minutes.
Did not play in the fourth. Can we emphasize he did not play in the fourth quarter either?
Yeah. No. Maybe Bub
I'm going with
Carrington.
Bub Carrington.
Yeah.
I like him. I liked him before the draft, too. I think he's going to be a good player in this league. He had 19 points, 7 dimes, 6 of 13 shooting, including 5 of 11 from 3.
Yeah, up and down this season, and you see, or his shooting is, and you see him have a good shooting night tonight and just take advantage of what the defense was giving him. And good for him being a young player and being able to get that done.
He's our simply the best player of the game. Check out NorthwestExteriors.com as they celebrate 30 years, a ton of deals. NorthwestExteriors.com, simply the best. Trust Northwest. Sound like Duke the dog in the commercial. Because I voice that. I am Duke the dog.
No, because Duke the dog can really talk.
Duke. Yes, I can.
That was really good.
Yeah. I got a good Duke.
Scary.
I'm reading some of the comments in the chat. Michael says, I just don't want to be stuck with the same team next year. Yeah, look, I think no matter what, you're not going to be stuck with the same team next year. I mean, whether they make the play-in, win both play-ins and get swept by OKC, or if they miss. I mean, you can't come back with the same team, I think there are pieces on this team that you look at and go, I dig this piece. I like Keegan and Keon. Okay, Isaac, there's something, you want to see what you have in Devin. And Jake LaRavia too. I like Jake LaRavia a lot. And they've missed him the last few games. And that's another example of, like, Jake LaRavia. No one looks at Jake LaRavia and goes, man, what a talent. Like a star, right?
Yeah.
But he understands what he needs to bring to the team. Like, those are the types of players. Those are the type of players I want,
Yes. No, that is how you build a roster, because if you have a whole bunch of guys like that need the basketball, or there's teams with those conversations, right? I remember when it was Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and they all need the basketball. And it's like, you figure it the fuck out with those three, right? And I think really they didn't figure out the rest of the roster for the most part. It was just a hodgepodge. And you see some of the best teams in this league, they just have guys that understand their roles. They have some of the best players that can carry you when you need it. And then they also have guys that understand their role, whether it's a 6-man, whether it's just being depth, whatever it is.
You know, if the NBA draft was rigged, like some people think the NBA draft lottery is rigged.
I wish.
I wish. And if it was, we need to do whatever it is. If you got to grease the wheels with Adam Silver.
Yes.
Adam Silver. What do you need?
What do you need?
What do you need?
What can I? Yeah.
Just let us. If we're in, can we just jump up this year? Just jump up.
Can we be like Cleveland?
And we won't make a mistake this time when we jump up. I swear.
How can you promise that?
Just here, it's not
Cooper
hard.
Flag.
Number one,
don't choose Cooper
could you
Flag.
imagine? You know, it's just with Cooper. There's just something about him. Like
I
we
heard
don't
that
know.
he drinks beer.
We don't know if he'd be a good fit with this.
We need a 6'3" guard. We realized we need a point guard. I'm feeling.
Man,
I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling good.
Yeah, there's gonna be it's gonna be a fascinating offseason. Good to have a new front office, new coach, new players.
You think it's gonna be everything?
Why? It's tracking that
That's
way. Are we
insane,
serious?
dude? It's just this season is insane. Insane. I mean, again, the other podcasts, against the Pacers. It was 2 years ago that day that the Kings had clinched a playoff spot. And 2 years later, here we are. Things change fast. Appreciate everything. Everything. Don't take anything for granted.
Oh, man. Same old BS for the Kings. Stop acting like this is new. Again, here's what I'm going to say this right now, okay? No one here is acting like any of this is new. And if you're saying that, it's fine. You're getting your comments off in the chat and you're feeling a certain way. We're not spinning anything here. We're being honest. We're venting.
I think they're frustrated.
I get it,
like they're saying like nothing new. Like they're just frustrated.
Okay,
They're not. There's nothing that they're saying.
Don't start coming at me.
Yeah, no one did. You just went at them when they were just expressing themselves.
It's so annoying.
It's okay.
Boosty says I knew
got
Deuce
you.
was going to react to that one. LOL.
Oh.
Next up for the Kings, they take
Fair.
on the Hornets, who are not playing with a mellow ball right now. They lost to the the Hornets lost to the Pacers tonight. A Hornets team that's got the second worst record in the Eastern Conference.
I have no
They've got
expectations.
19 wins. Yeah, I think that's the way to go about it.
It's
we'll see.
not like an emotional thing. Like I have no expectation when the thing gonna die. It's like literally, you see this team play great. You see this team play like shit, and you see the darkest of times like you did tonight. You don't know what you're going to get. And it's another road trip. They've lost some games. It's just hard right now.
It is. Let's get to some final thoughts of the evening.
Wow.
I mean, do you have more?
No, there isn't.
Why are you saying wow?
You just usually have so many more tangents. No, I'm kidding.
This is tonight. I'm like all the things that we have talked about.
Yeah.
Tonight are issues that we have seen repeatedly all year long.
Yeah.
Teams hitting threes that are not good 3-point shooting teams. Poor shooting, not sharing the ball, not playing with force. I feel like I'm just repeating myself.
You want to know the craziest thing?
What?
Not only are you repeating yourself, because I think last podcast when you went to final thoughts, I literally did the same thing. Yeah. And I was like, really? And you're like, yeah, Morgan, what else am I supposed to say? I'm just repeating myself at this.
It's frustrating. It's a very frustrating thing. I mean,
crazy.
This is something I said last podcast. I like how Keegan's playing right now. I am. I
At
love
least
how
that's been consistent.
If there's a positive, it's Keegan Murray, and I'm seeing more and more of his offensive game, and then what he does defensively.
And can you say this again? Need more Keon?
Yeah.
More Keon on the floor. Just again, his minutes as well.
Jacob has this comment. No offense, Deuce and Mo, but I think podcasts like this, which are awesome, by the way, don't necessarily highlight the negatives a month. The fan base is frustrated and tired of being fed false hope. Okay, the last thing I'm going to address on this, Jacob, and we can have a conversation somewhere else because I don't want this to take over the whole show.
Yeah.
If you are listening to tonight's podcast and feeling like we're selling false hope, I question your listening comprehension skills. Like, you literally have no idea what you're talking about tonight. We have not sold anything. We have talked about every single issue we have all fucking year long. So if you want to take your hand, shove it up my ass, and make me a puppet, and you want me to scream and yell, I'm going to react to losses the way I react. Genuine. Same thing with win. I'm going to enjoy wins sometimes. Guess what? This time of year, if they would have won tonight, I'm probably not going, yeah, fuck yeah. I'm just not. Okay, this is reality. So if you want like a hot take show, and oh my God, if you don't like that,
No.
if you want, go somewhere. I don't know what to tell you. Go there. It's not me. I'm telling you what I see, how I feel. I'm being my genuine self. If that's not good enough for you, if you want me to throw things, if you want me to yell and scream, it's just not what you're gonna get with me.
Well, it's not what you're going to get with either one of us.
I'm just stunned. I am just like,
But there's nothing.
What are you hearing?
Why are you even stunned? Why do you even care? And no offense, Jacob, he says he's not talking about just you and not just tonight. I just hear, but here's the.
I'm not a hot take artist.
And never will be.
It's not. I'm not going to.
The thing that people have always gotten frustrated with me, fans, media members have literally said to me, why aren't you just so pissed off after every loss? And I go, well, I'm not happy. And they're like, yeah, but you're smiling, or you can talk about the game. And I said, exactly, because we are talking about a game at the end of the day. And when I'm talking about a game, a basketball game, a game that I played my entire fucking life, that I love and adore, I used to sleep with the basketball because I'm a sicko, okay? I respect the shit out of the game. I have takes, I have points, and I have things to break down and talk about. I don't need to shit on the game or shit on humans to get my point across. You know what I'm saying? And that's just where we are with this. And we express our emotions, and that's why when we do scream or sing or whatever, or even praise the other team, or at the end praise one good thing like Keegan Murray, hey, that could be fun for the future of Kings basketball. That's just genuinely how we feel, and we will never change.
Yeah.
Ever.
I am going to we're gonna laugh during the bad times sometimes, and we're gonna be irrational sometimes. We're gonna try to provide some entertainment while also providing some insight on why we think things went
Look at
wrong.
us. We look broken. Like we look we just look awful.
I mean, it's
and I want to drive back to Sacramento.
Yeah. And I understand the frustration too, but like, please, if you're not hearing if I'm not like saying what you want me to say, I'm sorry. I can only say what I feel, and that's all I can do. So if you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, this is, it's a frustrating time, and I get it. Frustrating time. Final thoughts. Kings Hornets. Coming up on Friday. Oh, we will be live after that game, of course. Make sure to hit the comments after the show, too. Let us know how you're feeling. What are you thinking right now?
I'm just thinking of my emotions and how unhealthy it is for like my blood pressure and all these different things.
Yeah,
I need to take care of myself.
Yeah. Also, everyone touch grass, like it's all right.
I ate an apple.
You'll get through this. You know what? You're going to wake up tomorrow. The sun's going to be shining. It's spring.
Yes.
We are over here getting mad at a child's game sometimes, and it's the same time we get happy with a child's game sometimes. That's what it is. So you highlight the good.
Friday we're going to have some fun. It will be Friday. We're going to have some fun.
All right. We appreciate you guys so much. We love you guys, but we gots to go.
Thanks for being here. You all have a great rest of your night. See ya.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo, Deuce Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, the podcast that you know.